I said, ooh. I just butchered that song completely. Today, as promised, we got a special deck review. Now, a few months ago, I actually reviewed Drake's playing cards. I don't know if you guys remember. The title of the video was Why Drake's Playing Cards Are Garbage. And the video did really well, so I guess a lot of people agreed with me that those cards were indeed garbage. The design was so lazy, just not well thought out. There was no thought put behind it. They did, however, print with USPCC, so the quality of the cards were there, but the cards themselves were lackluster, and quite frankly, they were trash. Myself, as a playing card collector and a magician, I mean, I hold playing cards to a higher standard, so that's just me going into this. You're coming into my ring. I'm sure Drake would agree that my music sounds like crap, so I'm here to tell you that his cards are also crap. But that's not who we're discussing. Today we're discussing none other than Abel, The Weeknd. So probably the second most popular hip-hop R&B artist to come out of Canada, except for Justin, Bieber. We kind of gave him over to the States anyways. Happily represented by The Weeknd. He's an incredibly successful artist. He even has his own record company or his production company called XO, and that is actually the company that released these playing cards. Now, these were done in a very, very small, limited window. There's no way to know how many of these have been printed, but my guess is probably anywhere from 1 to 2,000. I don't think he would have went more than that. So a few months back, I tried to get on the site and I tried to buy these cards, but obviously they were sold out instantly. I had to wait for eBay to pick them up, and then waited a couple months, and then finally got my hands on them, and now we're going to take a look at the highly anticipated Weeknd playing cards, which are aptly named after his latest album, After Hours, which has that whole Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas vibe to it. So without any further ado, so this is the tuck case. As you can see, it says The Weeknd After Hours playing cards. It even has that bicycle feel that you would find with normal bicycle playing cards. On the top of the deck, you have that XO logo, as I mentioned, his production company. And on the side, it says standard size, standard pack. We'll get into that in a second, okay? Then you have the amazing back design. Now, I'm actually in love with this back design. Again, emulates the traditional bicycle playing cards, but with this crazy spin on it, which also reflects on his album work. It's all kind of this lick a frog, get high type of vibe to it. That's it for the tuck case. Before I move on to the cards, I just want to mention as well that this box is a lot bigger, and I'm not talking like taller, but a lot thicker than your average deck of playing cards. Also, nowhere does it say USPCC. A little bit worried. Before we get into the back design, we're gonna get into the actual deck. Now, look how thick that is. Right here, we've got a comparison between a normal deck by USPCC versus this deck. Quite clearly, this is not USPCC, which absolutely surprised me because they blatantly took the bicycle back design, even on the tuck case, even on the back of the cards, and tried to sort of emulate that classic feel. Now, it bugs me that if you're gonna go that far into designing a deck, why don't you just find out where classic playing cards are printed? Not hard. There's one company in the United States that does it, but obviously this was not printed in the United States, probably somewhere overseas, because the quality of these cards is terrible. Here's a fan. That's what a fan looks like. Look how clunky, chunky that is. And again, they're so thick, so it makes it really awkward to handle these cards. They're very stiff. I almost think there's like a fake air cushion. Like they wanted to make an air cushion on the back of these. And if you can see with the macro lens here, there is these tiny little pockets, but they're not even pockets. They are lumps, which is super weird. Normally air cushion have little pockets that the air flows through and they make your cards nice and slippery. These guys just went the other way and just put a bunch of rough lumps on the back of it. So kind of a weird thing to do. Let's get into the back design. Now, as I mentioned, back design for me is absolutely killer. I love what they did here. You've got that frog in the corners, you've got the XO logo, you've got that bleeding broken heart, and you've got the Weeknd himself walking down the strip in Las Vegas, much like Blinding Lights video. And it has this kind of trippy, weird vibe. You even have like that skull, which is in the middle here, is like the shape of a skull. And so it's got this dark, edgy kind of vibe to it. I've checked to see if this was marked. It is not marked, but it is. I just noticed that. Okay, so this deck is actually not a two-way design, which is weird, which is funny to me because if you look at the back design of this, so there's like a mirror pattern happening. That just goes to show you whoever designed this, probably his first rodeo in terms of designing playing cards, because anybody who designs playing cards knows that you want to mirror it diagonally. It's like putting a mirror down the middle of it, right? Which makes it symmetrical, but does not make it a two-way design. I mean, kind of cool because then you can figure out a magic trick that you want to do there and maybe put one of the cards upside down and you can find their card later. But again, just an oversight from the people designing it. This might be a shout out to the Weeknd or anyone else in the hip hop game that wants to put out a deck of cards. I will happily work with you pro bono for free to help you properly design a deck of cards. I'm not talking about the actual artwork in here. The artwork is fantastic. We're gonna get into that next. But I'm just talking about sort of those little things that matter. Let's take an actual look at the artwork in depth. Totally different from Drake's deck. This guy absolutely crushed it out of the park with his design and art. Like, blew me away. I did not expect to see this much detail and this much work put into a deck. This deck is 100% fully custom artwork design, you know, which makes it bittersweet because the quality of the cards are crap. I kind of wanted this to be really good, especially when I saw the box. I was like, this is Bicycle, yes. And no, it isn't. First things first, let's take a look at the Jokers. The Jokers are identical and they feature this frog standing on a skull. And again, you'll find that skull design and the frog on the back of the cards. This whole theme is about sort of him hallucinating and tripping out in Vegas, which I think is really dope. They are absolutely identical and they have the little X in the corner for the pip. Again, same font being used as USPCC, which surprises the heck out of me that they haven't pursued legal action on this because they're pretty tight with their designs, let me tell you. You can't just take a USPCC design and be like, I'm gonna change it up a bit and take it elsewhere, because even if I were to reprint, let's say, a normal bicycle back and change a few things, they wouldn't let me. They're very, very strict on their traditional design, so I would expect if they caught wind of this, they might be a little upset. Let's take a look at the hearts here. These are what the hearts look like. So these little broken hearts, which is really dope. I mean, I love that small added touch that doesn't take away from the deck. It doesn't make it, you know, something completely unrecognizable. Those hearts are featured on all the cards. And now let's get into the court cards here. So we got Jack, Queen, and King of Hearts. One thing you're gonna see on all of these suits is the Jack, Queen, and King always have a Doberman or two Doberman, a lady or an angel and a statue, and then they have Abel himself, the Weeknd, doing something, whether that's having a drink, having a smoke, or licking a toad. But they do change it up, which I thought was really cool. So at first when I saw it, I was like, oh, they just repeated the court cards over and over again, when they actually didn't. They changed the artwork. So check this out. That's the Jack, feature the Doberman there. You got the Queen of Hearts. And then my favorite card in the entire deck, that is the Weeknd actually licking a toad. So you got that red and green sort of melting together. The color scheme on there is just so wild. Let's go into the diamonds. So the diamonds, again, kind of have a feel like that diamond is melting. Like there's continuous theme of like this acid trip going on, which is really dope. The Jacks this time, the Doberman, have their mouths shut. They got some red eyes going. You got the Queen of Diamonds looking like an angel again. And then the King of Diamonds, he's here enjoying a cigarette or a smoke, or, you know, maybe something else. Who knows? He's in Vegas. Moving on to the clubs. Same thing for the clubs. They are very, very sort of just off, just like hand drawn, but cool and artistic. I love that. Jack of clubs this time. You got the Doberman growling and snarling. You got the Queen. She's actually a devil now. And so on the red card, she had a halo. On the black card, she has horns. And then you got him sipping some drink here. I don't know what he's got going on there, but he's drinking some cognac or something expensive, I bet. Spades. Let's talk about first the Ace of Spades. Again, dude, how, like, they got away with literally stealing the Ace of Spades, like the maiden on the maiden backs. You got Abel instead here. The After Hours font is very cool. It says the Weeknd XO Inc., Las Vegas, USA, X 2020. So that is a completely custom Ace of Spades, which is dope. The Spades, again, have this sort of drippy, weird flow to them. The Queen has horns. The Jack is barking. And the King of Spades is throwing up some dice and he's smiling. And that's such a cool design once again. So that is it for the design of the deck. Let's talk a little bit about how they handle. Not a lot. This is me trying to spring them. It takes all my strength. And you see how they shoot out like bop, 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 bop. That's because like my hands aren't even strong enough to spring these consistently. Isn't that weird? I mean, again, like we looked at the thickness, I would have to take away a third of the deck for it to be a normal sized bike deck. And then if I were to do that, now we're talking. Now they actually spring. You hear that sound, how weird that is? Listen to that. That's not your average sound, it's a little bit weird. Fanning looks like this, so you really have to like, you really gotta do like a pressure fan to be able to get anything that resembles a card fan, because otherwise a thumb fan's gonna look just clunky. They just keep getting stuck. Here. So not a great feeling deck. Great for just obviously just cardistry if you're doing packet cuts and stuff like that. Handles really well. They do have a very thick cardboard feel to them. I should have mentioned they are made of paper. They're just a really thick stock, kind of gross. It feels like you're handling an invisible deck, like the rough and smooth. That's all I got to say about the feel of that. I mean, there's nothing much to say. Like grabbing a double lift here feels like I'm grabbing 4 cards. So. That is the Weeknd's new deck, After Hours Playing Cards by The Weeknd. Final thoughts, super impressed with the design. The artwork there is unmatched. Even in the Magic world, in the playing card industry, this guy went above and beyond and put the same work in that most of these guys out there creating decks for a living are doing. You know, aside from the asymmetric back design, but that can be forgiven because perhaps it was intentional. I don't know. Other than that, tuck case is kind of cool. It's got this gold, look to it. I think that's fine. It's okay. It's a little bit gimmicky in my opinion. Maybe some embossing and some actually cool like tuck design. I would love to help him design a deck, or any popular celebrity out there making music and want to branch out into the Magic world and the playing card world. I would love to help them out and actually make something worthwhile that you'd be proud to own and be proud to play around with. These, unfortunately, are gonna stay in the box, stay on a shelf. So guys, that was it. Hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, leave a like, subscribe if you're new here, and don't forget to go tag The Weeknd on Twitter and spam him and let him know that I'm offering my services. We'll see you on the next video. Peace.